When I was younger, I used to have several dinosaur books. There was one book in particular that I really loved, and the pictures and illustrations were so fascinating. And as I was growing up, I was brought up in the Catholic school system. My parents were originally Buddhist and later converted to Catholicism. But I had a lot of questions, a lot of objections about the Catholic Church. Throughout my youth, I was searching for God, but I never was truly wanting, I guess, to know that He existed. And as I guess grew up in my teens, I was searching for Him. I gave Him ultimatums: if God, if you exist, show yourself to me. Otherwise, in 1 minute, I'm gonna never believe or try again to search for you. And I got no answer, and I tried that many times in my youth. And so I decided basically God doesn't exist. And well, simply it was my heart wasn't ready. I'd rather live according to my rule book. And so I had a lot of questions about the Bible and about God, in terms of the age of the universe and evolution, and how that all fit together with the Bible, since it mentions nothing like it. And why does God let people suffer? And so I had all these questions about God, and it wasn't so much that I really wanted to know. Part of it was simply that I wanted to kind of defy, in a sense, God, or if there was God, and just live the way that I wanted to. And so evolution shaped my life. I wasn't accountable to anyone. Therefore, I could do whatever I wanted. And I began to live a life of, destruction. As I got older, I got into trouble with the law. Relationships were falling apart. I began reading and searching and doing different type of things. And it got to a point in my life, the really low point in my life at this time. And I basically laid it all down, and I said, you know what, God, I've tried it my way and I failed. And if you exist, I want to serve you. I'll step out in faith and I'll just believe. And that night, I got on my knees, humbled myself, and asked God into my life. And I became born again that night, and just entered into a relationship with Jesus, with God. And I started getting my life back on track. My wife, which we were separated at the time, I made amendments with her. Asked for forgiveness for just the things that I've done, and we worked out, and He just transformed our marriage, and now it's a family of 5 of us. And growing up, the dinosaurs, Neanderthals, and fossils, I didn't know how it all fit into the picture, the big picture. So I began, researching evolution, the facts, the evidence, then researching creation, evidence and facts. And at that point in time, before I didn't know the difference between them, really. I just knew that, hey, I believed in evolution. We have so many similarities to these animals, and therefore we evolved. But after examining research and listening to people talk about it, debate about it, my conclusion was that evolution didn't add up. There were so many fabrication and fakes, gross exaggerations, and the facts they were just deliberate hoaxes. And I didn't know they were hoaxes. I didn't know that they were fake or had been proven to be inaccurate. And most of the time, the people involved were doing so in order to gain funding or meet their deadlines for the research. So they came up with these missing links. And a lot of times the bones were found miles and miles away. Piltdown Man, it was a human skull cap and an orangutan's lower jaw. The teeth were filed and stained different colors, and that was our solid piece of evidence for over 40 years. But time and time again, these missing links are exposed, and they never stand the test of time. There's just been, if we did have, even transitional forms or animals evolving, we should have countless and thousands or millions of these fossils littered on the earth, yet we can't even find a single one. And just even in terms of the enzyme, all of the necessary things for an enzyme to come about, the chances of that are ridiculous. I think it's 10 to the power of 40,000, which is even more than all of the atoms in the whole entire universe. So there's just so many little things that it just doesn't add up for evolution. For example, also the brow bones on the Neanderthals, one thing that I learned was the human brow bone grows for the duration of human life. So those Neanderthals were just regular humans, but they lived longer, and they also grew bigger brow bones. And then not too long ago, but modern day as well, we found T-Rex blood cells in bones. If dinosaurs evolved for millions or billions of years, then those blood cells should be completely destroyed. And then we have the Paluxy River footprints, footprints of man and dinosaur side by side. And when you look at historical documents, for example, in ancient China, they document how the emperor has dragons that he was raising to pull his chariots. They use dragon bones for different medicines. Alexander the Great, when he invaded India, he brought back reports about hissing dragon living in a cave there. Herodotus talks about the griffin type of dinosaur guarding nests around an area that he went in Asia. And even Beowulf, the story of Beowulf is about a T-Rex that he basically pulls off one of its arms and kills it that way. So throughout history, dinosaurs have lived with man. You even have Peruvian rocks that are carved, all these different various types of dinosaurs, and they even depict accurate dermal frills. Until only recently did scientists find out that there were these circular type of patterns when they found preserved skin on a dinosaur. I never really understood why evolution and creation was such a big debate, but the reason why it's such an interesting thing is because it shapes who we are, our origins, where we come from. It shapes the mind, moral ethics, and ultimately we're accountable to either no one, or we're accountable to Creator that made us. People would rather believe in evolution and hide behind the theory of evolution because they don't have to be accountable to a God, and they want to just continue hiding behind that. And that's one of the major motivations that I had in my life at that time. I would rather just kind of, okay, I'm going to put it back on the back burner and just ignore if there's any truth behind God. Ultimately, life is gonna pass us by like in a blink of an eye, like a flash of light. We're in this world for a moment, and then in eternity we'll be somewhere else. Whether that's heaven or hell, we have to decide. And evolution and creation, the viewpoint that you take, it's your worldview. It's where how it shapes the way you look at the world and the decisions that you make. And when I was back in that place, the lowest point of my life, I wanted to just give up, and I was just sick of life. But I took that last step and said, God, if you are there, I truly will serve you. I want to serve you, and I want to live for you if you're there. And like in Luke 7:7 it says, ask and it shall be given you, seek and ye shall find it, knock and it shall be opened unto you. And I believe it's so true. If you truly are searching for God, I believe He will reveal Himself to you. And that invitation is open for anyone and for everyone. And so God's invitation is open. He wishes that nobody perish, but that all will live with Him in His kingdom. And maybe you haven't put Him in first place in your life and sought Him out, but I encourage you to do so. And it's a decision you'll never regret. So in closing, thanks for watching. Subscribe or like or favorite, and I'll see you guys next time. God bless, guys.